Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Rabbi.
We are learning Mishna Gittin, Perek Zayin, Chapter 7, Mishnah Vav, Mishnah 6. Today's Mishnah is sponsored by the Garland children, the Zeir Chanishbas memory of their uncle, Gavriel ben Moshe Nachum, the Neshama Shav and Aliyah.
Amen.
Okay. Harei Zagitech. A man says to his wife, this is your get, Almanas, on the condition, Shatashamshi es Abba, that you take care of my father. Almanas, on the condition, Shataniki es Bani, that you nurse my son. So, that's the condition. That's the condition. Now, the Mishnah doesn't say exactly, those are the conditions. Now, the Mishnah now interrupts and says like this: Kami himanikatoi, how much does she have to nurse him? Which really means, within what period of time does she have to nurse him? Because the halacha is, as we're going to see, all she has to do it is one time. Meaning, if he just says, or let's say in the case of the father, he says, on the condition that you take care of my father. For how long? How many days? What do you got to do? The answer is one. All you have to do is do it once. All you have to do is once. For 1 day. That's all you got to do. He didn't specify a time. He just said on the condition that you serve my father. What does that mean? The answer is she has to serve him for 1 day. So too with nursing the baby. He says on the condition you nurse my son. How many days does she have to nurse him? The answer is 1 day. But the point is, when it comes to nursing, that she has to nurse him in a period of time that he needs to be nursed. Meaning there's a certain point of time that it's, the nursing is beyond anything, There's a certain period of time a child is nursed, and after that the child is weaned. And if you decide to nurse the child after that, that's not considered nursing. So therefore the Mishnah says, Kami minikate means over how long is a normal period that that nursing would help, would be worth anything, that therefore we say during that time she fulfilled the condition in which she just did it once. So the first opinion of the Mishnah is Shtei Shanim. 2 years, first 2 years of life. First 2 years of life is the time for nursing, and therefore as long as she nurses him for 1 day within that, with the child within one day within that period of time, she fulfilled the condition. Rabbi Yehuda says, Shmeina Asar Chaydesh, 18 months is the time for nursing. Beyond that time, whichever whether you hold 2 years or you hold 18 months, after that is not called nursing. That's not a time for nursing a child. That wouldn't be called nursing, and therefore it wouldn't be considered nursing, and therefore she didn't fulfill the condition. So again, if she does it 1 day within these periods, she fulfilled the condition. Beyond that, she didn't fulfill the condition. Now, in this case, so actually the Mishnah kind of interrupted and said, okay, so what's the period of time this has to take place in? But now the Mishnah kind of gets back. Meisa ben or Shemeisa av. The condition was, on the condition you take care of my father, on the condition you nurse my child. What happens if the child dies? What happens if the father dies? And she never had a chance to do it. Says the Mishnah, Harei get. It's still a good get. Because understanding is, in this case, where he just says, on the condition that you take care of him, or the condition that you nurse him, is basically because as long as it's needed. It's not just, you have to do this. He wants to get out of her, that she should take care of something that he needs. Well, if there's no need anymore, then there's no more condition. So the condition in this case, the condition wasn't just made as a condition. You have to do this. The condition was to be able to get this benefit out of her, to take care of this necessity. No necessity, no condition, and therefore he never made a condition in that in on those terms, and therefore it's a good get. So the point here is, at the end of the day, the halacha that's coming out of this part of the Mishnah is that if there was no specification of how long to take care of the father, how long to take care of the son, all you got to nurse the child, all you have to do is 1 day of them. But in the case of nursing, you got to do it within the period of time for nursing a child. And if you do it one time, you're good. If it comes out you never got a chance to do it because the father died or the child died, which means there was no necessity for it, then the get's still a good get, even though she never actually did it. Because the condition was to get this day out of her for what's needed, for necessity. No necessity, the condition was never made under those conditions. Next case. This is your get on the condition that you take care of my father for 2 years. Or that you're going to nurse my son, my child, for 2 years. Then, says the Mishnah, Meis haben, if the son died or the father died, or if the father said, he said, I don't want you to serve me. He said to her, I don't want you to take care of me. And he didn't do it out of anger. He didn't do it because she did something wrong, because she wasn't taking care of him properly. He just said, I don't want you to serve me anymore. No complaints, didn't do anything wrong. He's just deciding he doesn't need her. Nonetheless, Einoi get. In these cases, it's not a get. In this case, where he specifies a period of time, he says 2 years, then we say that he meant 2 years specifically. He didn't mean, well, within 2 years if needed. Here, where he specified a time, he means the time has to be fulfilled. That's the condition. If it's not fulfilled, then it's not, the condition hasn't been fulfilled, it's not a good get. And the Mishnah puts in that in this case, where the father died, even if, again, when he told her to stop taking care of him, it wasn't because, or in the case where the father said not to take care of him, and even if it wasn't because she did anything wrong, she's fulfilling what she has to do, but he decided to stop it. Nonetheless, ain't a get. It's still not a get, because when you specify a time, the Mishnah says, you mean you have to do that time to fulfill the condition. Interestingly, here, in one of the notes they bring down, it is not entirely clear why the fact that he specified a length of time for her to perform these services makes it more likely that he insists on having his condition completed, even though it is no longer needed. And it cites a Gemara, the Gemara in Gittin. So the Mishnah is saying that this is the din, this is the law, but it seems from the Gemara question as, why is it that just because you specify a time, now you mean even if it's not necessary? The first half of the Mishnah, we didn't specify a time. We said if it's not necessary anymore, there's no condition. Here, when you specify a time, we're saying that here you're particular, you insist it has to be this time, even if it's not needed, and it's not so clear why in this case we say that's the halacha, that's the law, but that's what the Mishnah says. And again, if let's say the father would have said to her, I don't want you to take care of me anymore because you're not doing a good job, or you're not taking care of me properly, right? He stopped it because of her behavior towards him, then that for sure she's not called taking care of the condition, because she's not doing it right. So that for sure is considered not fulfilling the condition. The point of the Mishnah was that even if he stopped her, not because of her behavior, he just said, I don't need you anymore. In this case, we specified a time without actually fulfilling the time of the time that he wanted her to do it. It's not considered fulfilling the condition, and it wouldn't be a get. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel Oimer, Rabbi Shimon, the son of Gamliel, said, he argues on this. And he said, kazeh get. In this case, it is a get. Klal Amar Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. And then Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel stated a rule. Kol akava she'ena hemena. Any time that the issue of not fulfilling the condition is not because of her, meaning it's not her fault, if the condition is not being met, not due to any fault of hers, harei ze get, it's a good get. Meaning, according to Rabbi Gamliel, even when he says a specific time, it's only where it's necessary. It's only when it's necessary. If it's not necessary anymore because the father or the child died, or because of the fact that the father said, I don't need you to help me anymore, and he just, decided he doesn't want her anymore, not because she did anything wrong. Shimon Gamliel says, if it wasn't her fault, not a problem. And Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, is not just talking about in a case where, it's not her fault. Even in the case where the child dies, it's not her fault, right? If at the end of the day, the condition isn't not being met, not because of any fault of hers, Shimon Gamliel says, then the condition is being met. He said 2 years, doesn't make a difference. Even if it's specified a time, the time is only being specified for when it's needed. And that's number one, when it's needed. And number two, as long as she's not the problem, she's not making the problem as to why this condition cannot be fulfilled, her behavior towards the father is not a problem, and that's not why he's dismissing her, then the get is a good get, because if there's just no more need for it anymore, there's no more need. And therefore, it would not be considered not fulfilling the condition. At the end of the day, the Bartanura says, Ve'ein halach Rishon Gamliel. Halach, again, is not like Rishon Gamliel in this case. You had that in yesterday's Mishnah, again in today's Mishnah, which means that if he specified a time, she must do that time that he specified, that she has to do whatever he asked of her as the condition for the get. If she does the time, the condition has been fulfilled, the get takes effect. And if she didn't fulfill the time, even if it had nothing to do with her, it wasn't a fault of hers, nonetheless she didn't do it, and the get would not be a good get. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. So if she